Step number 5 is a really important step, because now we're actually affecting the part of the knife that initiates the cut, the primary edge. Now, this is where I get to talk to you a little bit about jigs and devices. Here is a plethora of things that you may see in the marketplace for sharpening. You might see some kind of a little device like this, designed for just, pulling the edge through. This kind of a sharpening system doesn't take into account at all that you need to grind the secondary edges. It only addresses the primary edge. Here's another little gadget that essentially is the same. It's got little carbide tips on one end and ceramic rods in the other. I'll talk about the problems with ceramic here in a second. You've got, this is a mock-up. It's not the real thing. This is just a wooden base with some bamboo dowels. But there are some sharpeners on the market where you're supposed to take your blade and you're supposed to do, X number of strokes down these. And the idea is these rods are at a predetermined angle to reestablish your primary edge. Usually they're made of ceramic. Again, we'll talk about the limitations of ceramic here in a second. You have these kind of setups. That require a PhD in their use. There we go. You got these kind of setups that these come with a metal bar here that goes in there, and you clamp your blade in here, and then you grind your primary edge with these. This is a diamond stone and followed up by Arkansas stones and ceramics. Now all of these sharpening jigs and devices that I just showed you don't take into account the importance of the secondary edge. All of them only address the primary edge only. It's a faulty way of thinking, because if your blade is essentially V-shaped and you're only ever grinding metal away from the thin primary edge, then after repeated sharpenings, you work your way back up into thicker metal. You have to constantly be removing metal from the secondary edge and the primary edge to maintain the same edge geometry as the blade gets narrower through years and years of use. Here's a great example here. Okay, this is a blade that I made, a commemorative blade that I made when my son was born 13 years ago. And this blade started out just a little bit shy of this in terms of size. And we have been sharpening and resharpening. I've been using it for a lot of sharpening demos, so it's been worn down a little faster than it would normally. But this is still a functional knife with a functional edge geometry, because every time we sharpen it, we remove a little bit from the secondary edge and then refurbish that primary edge. And that's the way you want to do it. You don't want an edge that's so obtuse that you could, put it on a car axle and hammer through it with a hammer and still not have the edge damage. I mean, that's not the kind of edge geometry we want in the kitchen or in the field even.